I think we are descending from the 2021 bubble, which was one of the great bubbles. And this should be normally the deflationary period, the deflating period, which is a function of will the earnings decline, will profit margins decline, will the economy go into recession, and we will have a recession running perhaps deep into next year, and an accompanying decline in stock prices. I think the Fed's record on these things is wonderful. It's almost guaranteed to be wrong. They have never called a recession, and particularly not the ones following the great bubbles. They prided themselves in stimulating the bubbles. They took credit for the beneficial effect of higher asset prices on the economy. They have never claimed credit for the deflationary effect of asset prices breaking, and they always do. I suspect inflation will never be as low as it averaged for the last 10 years, that we have re-entered a period of moderately higher inflation and therefore moderately higher interest rates. In the end, life is simple. Low rates push up asset prices, higher rates push asset prices down. I feel that the economy, and particularly the stock market, is very secondary to a list of important long-term problems that we have that no one takes seriously enough yet. And I feel that when we sit here discussing the stock market, we're a little like Emperor Nero fiddling while Rome burns. My job description these days at GMO is working on long-term underrated problems. And it's been a wonderful time to be doing that because we have climate change, the most important issue in the investing world for the next few decades. We have shortages of resources. We have shortages of manpower, a population bust the like of which we have never seen, particularly in a few countries like China, with huge significance. We have an incredible growth in inequality, which I think is the poison in the political system. And we have a great surge of toxicity. I think we've made our planet unfavorable to life in every form, including Homo sapiens. And these are real issues. They're moving incredibly fast. They threaten the well-being of Homo sapiens. They threaten perhaps the existence of a stable global society. Oh. But we spend all our time and energy discussing these relatively trivial issues, which I've spent my life studying, and for good or bad, I have spent a lot of effort thinking about the great bubbles. You can look back at what people thought would happen to wind, solar, and storage, and EVs. We have done much better than people thought 20 years ago. So we frame it as the race of our lives, that the good news is moving faster than we thought. You all know about the bad news because the headlines are dripping with this news for the last 2 years in particular. Fires, death, droughts, food problems, hurricanes, ocean level rise. It's all around us. And the press certainly has picked it up. And most people realize that this is a serious issue. I am worried about that. But the good news is countries all over the world are finally realizing this is the serious issue. They're moving their tax structure, they're moving their subsidies, they're moving their research dollars. The wind is in the sails of green investing. The top-line revenue growth of green companies, of EVs, will completely dominate the top-line revenue growth of the old gasoline-powered vehicles, for example. It is very, very early, and for at least the next 100 years, climate change will be the dominant investing issue. They get far too enthusiastic, and I understand that. I can get pretty enthusiastic about new deals, new startups when people are presenting them. And I invested in that first bubble of 1968 and managed to make a small fortune and lose it. And after that, I became a completely die-hard value manager. No, I think a global index fund that had most of its money outside the US. It's a good business for making money. I think it's inherently trivial, which is a problem we've all had to deal with. And I would say a good combination of trying to make money and be useful is go into the venture capital world. Either run a startup yourself or deal with funding the startups and picking the winners and helping the winners. And if you could focus on the real problems that we've somewhat talked about, like climate change, then you really are combining a chance of making a lot of money with doing some good. I think of myself as a realist, trying to see the world as it really is and not the way I'd like it to be. And sometimes I succeed and sometimes I fail in that.